take it away.
All right, thanks so much. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you can hear me and see my screen. If not, JC will speak up for me.
You're good.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me. First of all, this is really exciting. This is my second meetup, as I said in chat, um, but my first presentation to meetup. So I'm presenting at a 50% clip, which I think is really good, and hopefully you guys have me to present every week going forward or every month going forward. I'm just going to assume that you'll always have me back. It's going to be great. So I'm going to talk about Callbird today, which is my new company, along with my co-founder Jack, who also works out of Atlanta Tech Village here. I'll talk about Jack in a little bit. Yeah, let's dive right in. So Callbird is instant meetings for salespeople and prospects, right? It's like Calendly, but instead of booking meetings in the future, it allows people to connect right away, instantly, when the moment is right, right? When the prospect's buying interest in a product is at its absolute highest. My background, I've done a lot of enterprise sales for a software company. And right now, booking meetings in the future, while it's amazing, right? And we love meetings and we love having stuff out in the calendar with our prospects, booking stuff in the future leaves a big time gap between the time that a prospect decides, yes, I have this problem or I need this solution, and the actual time that that first conversation takes place with the salesperson or a BDR or an AE or a solution specialist, whatever it may be. That time gap is problematic because it kills interest and momentum as time goes on. You can imagine a scenario where I have a big problem and I go to a solutions page and I request a demo, right? Well, I requested a demo today because I have that problem and I'm very interested. But over the next week before my meeting, I may have time to look at the competitors of that software and connect with them. I may have a fire drill pop up at work that takes my interest away. Or simply, I may just decide that that problem that I had last week is no longer top of mind and I cancel that meeting, right? It becomes the easiest meeting to cancel. And so with Callbird, we want to close that gap, right? When the interest is there, we want to offer the prospect to meet and connect instantly with the salesperson and capture them while, the iron is hot. What this does is reduces the time of the sales cycle, the early part of the sales cycle, which is really the most critical time in building momentum for the sale. So it shortens that sales cycle. It reduces, no-show meetings, which are, of course, really disappointing and everybody's nightmare. And ultimately, it means no more missed opportunities for enterprise salespeople. And so that's exactly what Callbird does. Here's, the same thing in chart format. I really like this graphic because it really hits you over the face. If you've sold software, and I'm sure a lot of people on this call have sold software or any service in the past, this bottom traditional sales cycle, right? You get an inbound lead, they fill out a form, they respond to your perfectly curated email that you sent over a Salesloft cadence, right? And they finally have shown interest, but then it takes time to establish that contact, get the meeting booked, even though we have great tools like Calendly and others to book the meeting. In the meantime, they contact a competitor. It no longer is a priority. And then eventually it's time for the meeting and hopefully they show up. If they do, that's great. We've lost 10 days. And if they don't, obviously we've lost that opportunity because they're no longer interested. In the top part, you can see Callbird, right? It's not about, completing the sale or having the full sales cycle in one meeting, but it's about establishing face-to-face connection as soon as the prospect is piqued in their interest. And that means turning a conversation into pipeline on day one instead of day 10. And so that's definitely what we're after. There's a couple ways to do this, a couple ways to use Callbird, okay? Everybody's familiar with, links in email, right? Because we see this with Calendly. Callbird is like that. You can send a Callbird link. You can see here, callbird.com/Ben. You send the link, people can click on the link and meet with you right away. We're integrated with the Calendly and cal.com and HubSpot Scheduler, so on and so forth. So prospects now have the option. They can say, oh, I've got 5 minutes. The salesperson's sitting at their desk mining LinkedIn or whatever, and I'm going to go ahead and have that meeting instantly with them, establish that connection, book the next meeting, do the BANT, really establish the qualification criteria right away, just from them clicking on your link and email. We can also put Callbird directly on companies' websites. So go to our website, you'll see an example, callbird.com. But we think about it like FaceTime for your website. It goes where a chatbot goes, but it gives people the opportunity on the website to generate that first conversation proactively with salespeople rather than filling out those forms or just browsing and leaving, right? So it's a conversation starter, and it's a great way to capture more website visitors and turn them into pipeline. And then finally, we can embed Callbird on specific landing pages on websites as well. So I keep talking about the requested demo form because it's like the magical traditional SaaS way to get inbound leads. But again, we like the form, we like the Calendly. Let's also, and our best thing that we could do would be to have that conversation right away from a company standpoint. So let's give that the prospect the option to meet instantly as well. Callbird's meant for teams. So here's a screenshot of our dashboard, which I'll just show briefly. And Callbird's meant for teams, right? I'm not available all day, every day. Many salespeople, of course, are consistently at their desk and available to take calls, so on and so forth. But definitely, we want to field these in teams. So if I'm not available and somebody calls my Callbird or our website's Callbird, my founder or my co-founder Jack in this instance can answer it as well. So we've built out this great dashboard. You can see all the calls that we've had in the past. We've had a really active morning on Callbird because we launched on Product Hunt today. And then also just wanted to show sort of a live example of what that link looks like. So each and every one of you, I know that you're going to go sign up for this after the call, obviously. So you go to callbird.com, you reserve your name. This is Allison. Allison's got callbird.com/Allison. She sends this link instead of Calendly, and she has the best of both worlds, this beautiful scheduling software, but also the ability for her prospects to meet with her completely instantly. And then again, the other use case on the website, there's Allison again. This is our website. You can see I can actually click on this, talk to my co-founder, Jack, and have that meeting right away while I'm browsing the website, all embedded on the website. And so that's really great as well. Let me just get back to my PowerPoint. Great. In terms of go-to-market, we're very early. We've just launched about a month ago publicly. And so we're very early in getting users and feedback and everything else. But, we're really going down the product-led growth path, which means we want to treat our product like a funnel and get as many people from as many industries and sectors and use cases as we can signed up for the product. It's totally free to sign up and use the page I just showed you. They're going to onboard, they activate, hopefully, which means they start having their first video call or several video calls. And then ultimately, we want them to upgrade to paid features, to get it on the website, to work in teams, to have a company Callbird page, so on and so forth. We have, a lot of paid features already and a lot more in the pipeline. And then our job, is, of course, will be to retain them. So when we think about product-led growth, it's less about, going out and selling big enterprise deals. It's more about providing value to users very, very quickly in their experience with our product. You'll see when you go to, sign up for Callbird, it's very easy to onboard, quite easy to activate, and you can get value very quickly, even in minutes after you decide to sign up. So we want people to experience that value, and then that kind of gets them hooked, experience more of it, and eventually upgrade. That's product-led growth. Already kind of introduced myself. I've got a background in a venture-backed SaaS company in supply chain software. So think big enterprise sales. And I really saw while I was there this need to close the gap between people who say, yeah, I'm interested in your product, and then meetings that actually occur. And so that was kind of the genesis for Callbird. And Jack, my co-founder, is just an awesome self-taught dev, serial entrepreneur who is a great web developer and works here out of the ATV with me. So that's it. That's Callbird. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. We're increasing conversions, the velocity of the sales cycle, creating face-to-face meetings. You can go to callbird.com and sign up. If you're lucky and you have a cool name like JC, you can still get your first name, which is awesome, right? I've got callbird.com/Brad. And try it out. Please give us feedback. That's really what we're looking for at this time. And then lastly, we did launch on Product Hunt today. If you have a moment, please go to producthunt.com, find Callbird, and give us an upvote. That would be really meaningful for us today, and I would appreciate it.
Awesome, Brad. Thank you so much. This is so exciting to hear. Loving to see it. If anyone has any questions, oh, I see John got John, which is wow. Okay, good work there. Yeah,
John, one of our first
questions,
users. Yeah.
yeah, love to see it. And maybe he has thoughts on the product that he can share with anyone who's interested. But if you guys have questions, put them in the chat. Brad, you'll obviously be around here for the rest of the meetup, I
Yeah.
assume, but I would love to know how, oh, okay. Well, how does the pricing work? She's Catherine's gonna get Catherine right now. Don't take it. And yeah, can you just walk
Yeah.
some quick pricing,
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Catherine's going to be available because you got that cool Y, so you're still going to be good there. So pricing for us is, it's very inexpensive relative to the value that we can provide. Right now, we're charging $19 a month to have a paid version of Callbird, which allows people to put it on their website and have those teams working on Callbird. The individual use is totally free. And again, the goal is to get a lot of people on so we can start to understand where the use cases shine the most, and then we can go tailor the product and our marketing strategy to those people. So really inviting people in an inexpensive way to enjoy Callbird, and that's part of the product-led growth model. Some of our competition out there is way more enterprise focused, and for very similar functionality is charging hundreds of dollars a month, but they're quite upstream from us, and we're kind of going in a different direction to try and capture more signups in the market, and so we can identify better use cases early on.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Brad. There is another question, but I'm going to have you answer it offline so we can keep going.
Cool.
And so
Thanks.
feel free to put it there. Lindsay, answer the call right away. Thank you for joining us. Next up, we have Lindsay Williams with MyUTI. And I will stop sharing and take it away.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we got you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hello. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. I am Lindsay Williams, CEO of MyUTI. So my co-founder and I have launched over 20 lab service products and are subject matter experts in the area of clinical and molecular diagnostics within a particular area of urology, women's health, and infectious disease. And in case the name didn't give it away, yes, it is that UTI. So I don't know how many of you here have had a urinary tract infection, but based on statistics, it's probably many of you that either have had or know someone who has had a UTI. It's the second most common infection in the United States, according to the CDC. But for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of experiencing one yourself, I'll give you a little bit of context on the painful problem. We actually did an online poll where people responded overwhelmingly that they would rather have diarrhea, a migraine, or head to toe body hives than to have another UTI. And honestly, we don't blame them, because from our own frustration in dealing with frequent UTIs to helping manage the care of our elderly grandmothers, we know whether you were 88 or 18 like I was, UTI care is painful and inconvenient because it's a lot of waiting, either in a telehealth waiting room or an urgent care waiting room. It never feels fast enough. And because conventional testing can take several days to identify the type of bacteria causing your infection, doctors are often left to blindly prescribe or use their best guess at what prescription antibiotic is going to work for your infection. Unfortunately, the data shows that 50% of the time that best guess is wrong, either in incorrect dosage, duration, or the actual drug that's prescribed. And that leads to a lot of repeat infections. And the average out of pocket per UTI episode is $300. So now imagine having that cycle over and over again, 2 to 3 times, up to 5 times per year, sometimes more for people who suffer with these frequent infections. So MyUTI built a proprietary platform for at-home testing that removes the hurdles of doctor's appointments, insurance costs, and provides evidence-based PCR testing from the comfort of home that not only identifies the top 12 symptom causes for UTIs, which is 10 more than the conventional testing provides, but also gives you personalized and AI-guided treatment guidance for the antibiotic that's most likely to resolve the source of your infection. It's modern UTI care. You can collect the sample in the comfort of your home and receive personalized results within 24 hours. And with MyUTI, those robust personalized results and treatment plans can come to you faster than a traditional visit to the doctor's office and waiting on results for a urine culture. How this kind of compares in the market, you know, you can go to the store and get an over-the-counter dipstick, little test strips. Unfortunately, those are not considered diagnostic. They just look at signs of infection, and they're not recommended by the American Urological Association. You can go to the doctor and get the conventional urine test, but that only looks for the top 2 most common causes for UTIs. And data shows that a lot more of our infections are created by multiple pathogens, so more than 2 or 3. And also it can take days because the good old fashioned like Petri dish, wait for it to grow. In order to get access to this type of PCR testing, it typically takes a specialist appointment. And in order to get insurance to cover it, which labs can bill up to $1,200 for this test, you usually have to show multiple failed treatments, which is not fun for anybody. So the reality is having information about your infection makes it easier to treat the UTI and reduces the use of ineffective antibiotics. And we know that this market matters. And this is how it makes some of our customers feel. Anna is a customer who came to us, and after she got her results, sent us an email that said, I want to cry, honestly, of relief because it has been 4 months in pain, 6 negative urine cultures, providers who would not listen. And the whole time I just knew it was an effing UTI. As an example of our results, we provide comprehensive, not only looking at organisms detected, resistance genes, but also giving easy to understand information for consumers, as well as information that physicians can trust. So Anna can be confident that she's been evaluated for the top causes of her UTI symptoms, and she can have confidence in the recommended treatment path, as well as her physician. Now, while we launched go-to-market in DTC with e-commerce, our larger commercial strategy is B2B2C based. We're targeting telehealth platforms as well as clinical referral from large physician groups to drive volume inflections while reducing our customer acquisition cost and solving for a diagnostics gap that currently exists within telehealth. We have already secured our first telehealth partnership as well as clinical referrals, and we have currently assigned LOI from the largest urology specialty GPO with over 90 group practices ready to launch our referral program, which represents a 7-figure sales pipeline for us. So just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. Join us as we modernize pelvic health testing with MyUTI. For any of you who come up with a burning sense of urgency, can find us via our website or shoot me an email directly.
Oh, lovely. Lovely to see. Congrats on the traction. I love to see that. I love to hear it. Always so fun to see the progress that y'all are making. I love it. If anyone has questions for Lindsay, of course, put them in the chat. I may have missed it, but can you talk a little bit about your pricing as well for us? I know you had mentioned some competitors, but maybe recap it if I missed it.
Yep. So we have our price set at $199. That includes the cost of your kit results, and your kit comes to you quickly in the mail, and it's got all the little supplies that you need to collect your sample, overnight it back to the laboratory, and all of that is included.
Okay, great. And those are one-time costs, right?
Yep.
That's for every kit, it's $199. Got it. Compared to the $300 you said for the average cost, sometimes more.
Average cost, sometimes more. And to get the same type of testing, PCR testing, to look at a wider panel or, of pathogens at a doctor's office, laboratories bill on average between $600 and $1,200 to your insurance. So even if you had a 20 or 30% co-insurance or out-of-pocket responsibility, God forbid you haven't met your deductible, you would be responsible for paying all of that, assuming it would even be covered.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, good to know. We'll do one more question here. Jay's asking, can you elaborate a little bit on the partnership with your labs that you kind of mentioned just at the end there?
Partnership with telehealth or partnership with labs? Let me
With
clarify.
labs.
Okay, so we have a CAP accredited and CLIA a certified laboratory that that we utilize for our testing. And to also answer, I think Catherine's question here, we do have planned menu expansions into crossover areas of pelvic health where symptomology is similar. So things like sexual wellness or sexually transmitted infections, as well as bacterial vaginosis.
Okay, listen, I love it. You're going places. So fun to hear. Well, I appreciate it. There is another question, but I'll let you answer it offline. And we appreciate you being here, Lindsay, and I'll invite Connor up for the next. There he is with Aetos Imaging. And take it away, Connor.
All right. Good to see everybody. Let's see. I assume, can everybody see my screen here? Ready to rock.
Looking good.
So I'm Connor Offit, and I'm the CEO of Aetos Imaging, where we are helping facilities visualize their operations. So I'm going to walk you through this scenario here. Imagine you are a technician at a plant like this. It could be a manufacturing, could be a utilities facility. It could even be just a regular building. Maybe you're into your job about 2 or 3 months, and your boss says, "Hey, we've got a leak on valve LL2-517. I need you to go check it out for me." You just look at him like, "Yeah, okay, boss, I'm on it," right? And so you're like, "Okay, where's this valve exactly? What is it? Is it the blue button? Is it the red button?" So I think you get the idea that the way that facilities are managed, there is no visual context for operators to understand their equipment, where things are, and the learning curve for new operators and technicians can be just absolutely insane. And so we have built a 3D scanning platform that solves that problem with our software. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick demo here, because it's better to show than tell, of one of our projects here. This is one of the largest mining operations in the world. So we have 3D scanned the entire power generation unit of this factory, and we now have it imaged on our cloud-based platform. And so one of the first things that we do is we help operators identify all the assets within their facility. So I can go here to my Vacon drive, and now I don't have to wonder where it is. I know exactly how to get here. I can look around. I can see exactly where I am within the space. Once I'm there, I can access critical information. I can see live IoT readings while I'm there, or even from a distance from a control center. And even if I identify something's wrong, I can schedule a work order for somebody to go and service that ticket. So we're really building a total all-in-one solution for visual facilities management. I can link to other systems, ERP, CMMS, IoT. I can attach manuals. I can leave notes. So we're giving people all sorts of these tools that they normally expect for their facility operations. Everything then rolls up into an equipment database where across an entire portfolio of assets, I can start to track the health and the entire consortium of information about everything that's across all of my buildings. So if I need to check a pump in another location, I jump into it, and we can service that and have that visual context for what we're stepping into. Now, in addition to just asset management and equipment, we also have a very robust site-specific learning management system built inside of our environment. So this allows new training staff to get onboarded on site-specific critical operations, cutting their learning curve sometimes in half and getting them to a productive state as fast as possible. So we can actually walk people through site-specific steps, processes, lockout, tagout procedures, and get them acclimated to their facility and quickly stand them up and get them to a state of production. So that's a very, very quick platform demo. There's a whole maintenance component to this as well. We can start to schedule out predictive and preventative maintenance schedules where we're actually walking operators through the specific processes and steps to lock out, tag out, shut down equipment, check bearings, etc. And all of this is logged from one centralized platform. So as far as how we're doing, just a little bit more about the software first. We like to say that we're kind of the visual solution that aggregates a lot of these other disparate systems. So you have IoT data, you have CMMS, which is maintenance and management. you have using 3D scans and even integrating with world-class ERP systems like SAP. So we bring all those systems together for one central interface that allows operators to get production done. And then let's see. So as far as our business model goes, we have two prices that we charge. So there's a one-time setup cost for us to go send out our techs to go scan, onboard, migrate data. And usually that's a big upfront fee for them to get stood up that we run at about 68% margin. We're currently averaging about $25,000 a facility that's about 200,000 square feet. Now, the interesting thing to note here is the market rate for a 3D scan itself is about consistent with this number. So we really are choosing to use this as our funnel towards our SaaS fees, which is where we really make the most of our money. And that's on the license fees with our SaaS at about $15,000 a year per facility. So the last 2.5 years have been just absolutely incredible. While we started in commercial real estate, we've now pivoted into the industrial and manufacturing sectors and are already under contract with major companies like Chevron, Steel Dynamics, Brenntag. We've got 77 facilities under management. Currently $600,000 in ARR bookings. We are on track to do well over $1 million this year. And actually the biggest client that we've ever gotten is not even on this chart. So, knock on wood, we're going to get it done, but I think that'll make this chart look a little silly when we stand next to it. So I'm very excited about that as well. We've got an incredible leadership team. I've been lucky enough to recently hire John Head, who's taking over our head of sales. And he used to work for Honeywell Forge, bringing their enterprise SaaS solutions to market. I'm also backed by Lindsay Clark, who's an incredible operator, side by side, has been working with me on this for 2.5 years. And of course, Patrick Couch, former co-founder of RVshare.com, the Airbnb for RVs. And when he got bored over there, he came over and did this with me. And so that's Aetos Imaging in a nutshell.
So cool to see. Wow. Thank you so much. It's always good to see product demo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So of course, if anyone has any questions for Connor, please throw them in the chat. I love seeing that traction. Can you walk us through what that onboarding looks like for, like, how long does it take? How, what are you kind of investing in upfront with the hope that you'll then get that SaaS revenue?
Yeah. So first off, the contract is SaaS plus setup. So, we definitely are not doing jobs that don't have SaaS component, right? So, and we've kind of perfected that process. We're down to about, we get depending on the size of the project, it's anywhere from a day to 3 or 4 days for us to go scan. And then the onboarding process usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. So, we work with enterprise clients, so it is a little bit of a longer onboarding, but the tail end is just gigantic and it's absolutely worth that initial investment. Not to mention it's a cash flow machine because we make money off that setup.
Sure. Yeah, that's brilliant. I love to hear it. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about like the roadmap coming up? What's your maybe next feature or say offering, and what are clients asking for?
Yeah, so it's actually funny. We've really kind of stopped the big feature release roadmap. We've kind of gotten all the core components in. Now we're really focused on things like SOC 2 Type 2, multiple organizational permissions and security, things that help us transact and do enterprise deals faster. We have so much demand right now that we're just trying to get contracts through. And so things that accelerate that negotiation process, the contracting flow, a lot of that is really what it's all about right now for us. So we have about 2 quarters of that, call it back of house stuff planned, and then probably some really big AI announcements in Q3 of next year.
Ah, okay. I like how you slipped that in at the end there. Very
Just a little
exciting. Very cool. Well, can you tell me a little bit? I know you walked us through the pricing, but about you said that's kind of average for 200,000 square foot. Is that your typical size? Are you able to go small, go large? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the spread is something like a natural gas refueling station for Chevron all the way to a 33-acre power generation facility for Oglethorpe Power. So we're really covering the gambit there from, the types of locations. The key is complexity of management and operations. whether that's from a portfolio view, trying to manage 55 disparate assets across the country, where that can get really technical and challenging, or one really, really big, complicated facility where you have dynamic operations there. So, finding our perfect market has been fun. And we're really leaning into that kind of 100 to 300,000 square foot industrial manufacturing facility seems to be our just perfect sweet spot, although we have a lot of traction on the outskirts as well.
Sure, sure. Well, we'll do one more question. That way we can kind of lead time for needs and leads. But question here, who's your initial point of contact at a company? Where do you, who's the decision maker, and is that the same?
What a great question. It's taken us a while to figure out the sweet spot, but it is something like a plant manager, a director of operations, a maintenance manager, or a director of continuous improvement. And I can just tell you, JC, our outbound right now, we've hit it. We've finally figured out the cadence of the calling, the MQLs, how many demos lead to how many site visits to how many proposals. And just figuring out that sales motion as a company has been so fun. And I wish I would have learned sooner, but here we are. And we have a repeatable growth engine that we're taking to market. So.
Well, if I can ask again, one more question. So you guys have been in operation for 2 years, you said. So do you think 2 years has taken you to get that, or how long did it take to prepare?
Yeah, so MVP launched in April of 2022. So I guess we're really not even 2 years into this as far as having a software product out there on the market. Company's been around for about 2.5 years, but we're less than a year of actually being in the market.
Gosh, that's great to hear. Well, congrats on the success, the traction so far. Excited to hear more updates soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Well, with that, we've got 8 more minutes. So I will invite anyone who would like to, of course, post more questions in the chat. But I will go ahead and share my screen real quick before we get to needs and leads. We just have some upcoming events. We've got, as you know, we run 2 meetups. So it's the Atlanta Startup Convos, which you're here for. And then, of course, we have a healthcare entrepreneur meetup. And we've got a great, the next event is with Catalyst by Wellstar. That'll be on September 20th. So save the date, come back. And of course, we always have events coming up soon. So check that out. Just wanted to share that real quick if you want to check out those resources. Would love to hear if anyone has any needs and leads. We've got just over 5 more minutes here. This could consist of, follow on product hunts. We've heard already. If anyone's hiring, if anyone's looking, if you guys, any of the speakers here or anyone on the call would love to hear, you can put it in the chat or you can unmute, get wild here in the next 5 minutes. And if not, I'll wait a couple of minutes. Then I will give you 5 more minutes back of your day. And we will go from there. So I'll wait here to see. Oh, yes, one more thing. We would love it if everyone would take 1 minute real quick. Evie has just put a quick survey link. We'd love to know kind of what you guys are, why you're here, what you're looking for. So if you could take that quick survey link while you're here, I'd love to get some feedback. It is in the chat. And so we just want a little bit of insight onto why you're here and what you're looking for, how we can be serving y'all better. So I would like you to take that. Super helpful if you do. And again, thank you Connor, Lindsay, and Brad. Always cool to see what people are doing in the community and what you're building. So thank you all for sharing. If there's anything else aside from the survey, speak up or forever hold your peace here, folks.
Yeah, I'll speak up. This is Connor Strapp from Champley, and I'll make sure to take the survey. Thanks for the invitation today. This was really fantastic. So my feedback will be positive. The needs for Champley right now, we're very early stage. We just launched our MVP, so our priorities are onboarding users, paid or free. We are also actively fundraising a seed round. And we need some help on front-end design work. So those are our top 3 priorities at the moment.
Awesome. Well, if you, Connor, I don't know if you want to throw any links in the chat, ways to get a hold of you, share an email, a LinkedIn. I know folks are able to connect if you've got something there. It looks like Adrian can suggest a good firm for design work. So there you are. So, but if you want to connect and put your stuff, Connor, in the chat, that'd be great. Looks like Stephanie has a need or
Yeah,
a lead.
mine is really about, thanks so much for all of the workshops and presentations today. It's been excellent. Mine's really about, once I've completed an application around the idea stage, what is the timeline to start to move through the funnel and to reach a decision? What does that process typically look like? Is there additional information we should be prepared to provide?
Yeah, you're saying specifically for Atlanta Ventures Studio, etc. Awesome. Yeah. So we will take a look at your application, and I believe either one of our team members will reach out, or I think you got an auto email that also should, no, not with that one. We'll probably be in touch. So we'll kind of take a look and go from there.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Glad you're connecting with us. Let's see here. Anyone else? We got 4 minutes. Let's see here. Okay. Looks like Adrian is putting together a beta list for when they launch. If you run a community, please consider signing up. So if there's any community leaders out here, it could be your user base or it could be anything. Feel free to take a look at that form there from Adrian if you're interested in wanting to help them launch community. Okay, I'm gonna let it go from here. We will have this out again so you can, oh good, Connor good. He put his connection there. We will see you guys back here hopefully on September 20th for another meetup. We'll have October's Atlanta Startup Convos as well. Appreciate all the founders sharing your traction, your stories. We'd love to hear it. And we will see you guys back here soon. Thank you.